People ask me how, you know, what can you drive side by side? Well, it's not difficult as long as you adjust, you know, your reins properly, really. And the other thing we find that's a good idea, I mean, obviously the pole's too low for the big horse, and it's just about the right size for the little fella. Yeah, walk, baby, just walk now. So by having a little spreader bar on there, so the bar out the front allows one chain to be a bit higher than the other. Now I know you say, well, you could do that with a chain anyway, but to have the chain enough to let these two horses walk side by side, you'd find that you'd have to have your pole massively long, or you'd come back and catch your ox. You know, this big horse is ox, you see what I mean? So by having a spreader bar, you can still have the chain the normal length, and all that does is let this one come up, that one go down as they move. People have asked, you know, the question several times, can it be done? You get, you know, someone who drives, who's got, you know, maybe got a pony and a horse, you know, often like the children's pony's been broken and they want to exercise them together. Well, you know, this is how you can do it. Walk up there, Roly. Come on, get up, I mean. Trot on, Roly. Roly. I was just asking the big horse to come up a little bit. And you can see they go along quite happily together. You know, you'd naturally assume that the big horse would out-trot the other one, but they just adjust their trot to the pressure you got on the reins. So, with the little fella, he's in training. You know, he's here to be trained, a little chap, so he's just in a piece of rubber and he's just going nice. You know, with the traffic and everything, he's just trotting along lovely. Also, the other thing, you've got to have the harness adjusted properly. Oh yeah, so this harness here, for instance, is a tiny set of harness, actually Shetland harness. But obviously the traces are not going to be anywhere near long enough. So what we've had to do with that is to put extensions on the traces, which are actually some long bridging off a set of pair harness. So, but you see them going along there on the slack lane, as happy as you like. And they go along and they'll work. See there the traces, taking weight on all four traces. I wouldn't say they got exactly equal amount of work, because obviously we give a little bit more to the big fella. But this little fella, he'd pull it, you know, if you let him, he'd pull it. He's a lovely little pony. One of the best ponies we've ever had in, you know. And he weren't doing anything much at home because the little girl had grown out of him. We already done one pony for the people called Gordon a while ago, and they've just sent this one. But what they might do, I mean, I don't know whether they will, but what they might well do is bring Gordon back up, and this is the reason we've got him in a pair, is so that he can go with the other horse, this great big horse here, and they can work together and be happy, the two of them, working away together, little and large. Then, you know, there's no reason at all why he shouldn't go home and work with his mate, who's about 14 hand, I suppose. He might not even be as much as that, I can't remember. But there wouldn't be the vast difference. I mean, Roly's 16.2 and he's barely 10 hands, this pony. So, 9 hands maybe. So obviously there's a vast difference. You know, 7 hands difference in them maybe. I've not sticked them, but the main thing is to get your reins right, so they both run with their head straight, like that. And, you know, you probably can't see, these are specialist reins we got on here, that basically a set of pair reins, but they're specially for this type of job. So the holes of adjustment on the coupling rein are probably twice as many as you'd normally get, maybe 20 holes on these, whereas you get maybe 10 to 12 on a pony set of reins, you know. So the two horses working away lovely together here and enjoying his time out, the little fella. Also, it's very good for them with little ponies to have something big up the side of them, something a little bit perhaps intimidating. If they're ever in that position with a riding horse round them, I have seen them like start moving around and fidgeting because there's a big horse in the same proximity. So, you know, if you've got a driving pony kept in a yard of liveries, you might just find there's could be a little bit of awkwardness. I mean, obviously when we break them they should be 100%. That's what we aim to do. There you see, I hope that's answered anybody's questions. Can it be done? Just watch your reins. Obviously the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Well, with ordinary coupling reins you can't do a straight line because it comes off of his collar and down to his mouth. So come on, babe, in that respect you haven't got a straight line. And then if you look at the drop from Roly's right the way down to the little fella and the other one's going up. Alright, all clear? So as I'm saying, all you got to do is remember your reins if ever you need to do this. And bear in mind, if you have an average of 4 inches difference on a coupling rein, I'm just taking that as an average. If your two horses are going pretty straight together, well then, obviously you've got 4 inches because you're coming at an angle. Well, you've got, you know, 3 different angles here. You've got the angle coming off the little fella up to the big horse. You've got the one going down, so you've got to add and put that in, you know, to what you're doing, you know what I mean? You need to put that in. Come on. The other thing is, you know, if you need to do this, pick the phone up, you know, we'd always speak to you over the phone if you're not sure, but you do need to get your pole right. It's probably the most important thing, you know, of driving 2 odd sizes with this much difference between them. Is that old spreader bar on the front and where we set the pole to. So just make sure your pole's well padded. Make sure all your harness is not rubbing against your horse due to the pole being so low on the big horse. Here, you'll always find the smaller horse will run away from the pole more because this horse, I've got to keep some rein on this horse, on the coupling rein. If I was to let that out all the way, when we come transition, walk, trot, whatever, you would find then that you would have very little steering. Oh, pull up, Rolo. Up, Rolo. Ooh.